Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I want to talk about the red flags that a man is not spiritually ready for a relationship or marriage, because being with a man like this is like being responsible for a child you are not allowed to discipline. They know that if you are trying to obey Jesus, you are not going to curse them out or slap them, and because of that, they will deliberately test boundaries, provoke jealousy, provoke anger, and push you to act out of character, and if you allow it, they take advantage emotionally, mentally, and sexually, and when a man consistently provokes you to sin or lose self-control, the only moral option is to walk away, because this behavior does not improve with time, it gets worse. If you ignore it or overlook it, they see weakness or naivety, and if you stand up for yourself verbally or physically, they succeed in pulling you into sin, which for some of them is the goal from the start. Scripture warns us that the enemy uses willing vessels who have given themselves over to sin to cause others to stumble, whether through sexual sin, losing your temper, or provoking physical violence. And these men do not care about obeying God or protecting your reputation or theirs. Every single time they get you to sin, it is a win for them. And yes, sometimes people really are paid to make others stumble, just like the Bible story of Balaam. It sounds unbelievable until you realize Scripture already warned us, and gang stalking and targeted manipulation do not happen randomly. People can be paid to monitor you, provoke you, and even date you intentionally, and even when they are deceived themselves, the outcome is the same. Slow, subtle provocation until before you realize that you have compromised morals, values, and boundaries you never thought you would cross. The only way to avoid this situation is to only date men who are genuinely doing their best to obey Jesus. Because many men believe in Jesus but do not obey him. They do not treat others the way they want to be treated, they do not restrain their lust, and they do not care if you stumble. And while Jesus said narrow is the way and few find it, the rest of these men are simply not worth your time, love, or affection. They will waste your time, take advantage of your love, and cause you to stumble. Modern men are often taught double standards where cheating is acceptable for them but unforgivable for women. They resent working women because it removes financial control, yet resent non-working women because they feel burdened. They want children, but also expect a perfect body, constant attention, and availability only when it suits them. They want you when they want you and want you gone when they do not. They expect sex on their terms and often refuse to please you unless you make it clear you will not please them either. They do not want you too beautiful because they are jealous of other men, yet do not want you to let yourself go because then they are embarrassed. Some will intentionally refuse to take out the trash for days just to provoke you into nagging. Some will refuse to shower, brush their teeth, wash their hands after using the bathroom, or wash their hands before touching food unless forced. And if you are someone who hates nagging, they will try to turn you into one on purpose. They will start arguments on your birthday, holidays, or important events. If you are happy, they will deliberately do something to ruin your mood because they do not want you happy unless they benefit from it, and sometimes they still resent it. They will cheat with no remorse, beg forgiveness, and repeat it, but if you cheat, they will label you and never let it go. And sadly, even men who claim Christianity do these things because they fall into what the Bible calls sons of disobedience or preordained to condemnation, people Paul warned us to turn away from. And this is exactly why 2 Timothy chapter 3 matters so much, where Paul says that in the last days perilous times will come, and men will be lovers of themselves, covetous, proud, blasphemers, disobedient, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. And he gives a direct command, from such turn away, warning that these people creep into lives and lead others captive. And Paul contrasts this with the sufficiency of Scripture, which is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, reproof, correction, and instruction in righteousness. And this warning is reinforced First, in 1 Corinthians 5, where Paul instructs believers not to associate closely or even eat with someone who calls himself a brother yet lives in unrepentant sexual immorality, greed, idolatry, drunkenness, reviling, or extortion, not to be cruel, but to protect others and bring conviction. And when we connect all of this with the error of Balaam, the picture becomes clear, because Balaam represents those who are willing to misuse spiritual language, influence, and proximity to God for personal profit while leading others into sin. As Jude 1 verse 11 warns that they ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward, and Balaam's sin was not only greed, but compromise, advising others into immorality and idolatry when he could not curse them directly. And when we apply all of these scriptures to the Christian dating scene, the truth becomes shockingly clear. The warning was always there. We just assumed our elders, pastors, or fathers would explain it to us. We cannot change the past, but we can make wiser decisions moving forward. I hope this video has brought clarity and answered questions you may have carried quietly for a long time. If you have anything to add to this conversation, please share it in the comments. If this video blessed you, please like it, share it with someone who may need it, and subscribe so you don't miss future videos and can help the channel grow. And thank you so much for watching and spending this time with me. If you want next, I can help you tighten the first 10 seconds even more for retention, or match the title plus thumbnail text perfectly to this revised intro so everything lines up clean and honest.